All right, my name is Betsy Barr, and I've been with Symmetry since April of 2019, part-time, while I was also working as a math teacher. And then in August of this year, I came on full-time and just could not be happier with this career path, and just so thankful for all that Symmetry has to offer. And we are so excited to share it with you tonight, and just to see what kind of an impact it could make on your life. I'm here in Knoxville, Tennessee. I'm direct to Mark Neubauer, and here with my husband, who is a pastor, and our two little boys. And so Symmetry has just changed our life, changed our family for the better. We get just so much more time together, and I get to pour into my family as I help other families around the states. And so yeah, I just get so excited and thrilled to share with you guys. And so I'm going to be co-hosting this with the one and only Val Zarn, and so I'm going to let him introduce himself as well.
Thank you, Betsy. Excellent introduction and opening there. So my name is Val Zarn, direct to the one and only Chris and Lauren Cook. Chris and I go back about 10 years, believe it or not, with the practice company, and a lot of people reference the practice company, but we have quite a history there. He and I met on a carrier trip. It was an all-expense paid trip to the Caribbean in St. Martin. Amazing, amazing place. So he had called me up out of the blue. We had kept in loose contact. He and I were kind of had that same level of success with the previous company. We were both making six figures. We had a small agency, that sort of thing. And we're the same age. He's got two kids. I've got two kids, that sort of thing. And when he called me up and said, "Are you open? You know, what are you doing now? Are you open?" I said, "Yeah, somewhat." I had an account sales manager job. I was making right about six figures. The good old look good, smell good, but basically broke. All I was doing was paying my bills, and I wanted a whole lot more. So I looked at this business very, very carefully, and I'll tell you what really stood out was the results that they were getting as a whole, and as Chris was getting, and the culture of the company. So the more I hung around, the more impactful that was to me. And I made the transition from that job. I walked away from that job, gave my 2 weeks notice in time for me to attend the national conference in February of 2018. So I'm now going on what would be 3 years. I started part-time, and I'm very happy to say it's been a great experience for me personally. Results matter, right? We can talk about all this other stuff that's just kind of fluffy and sounds good, but what kind of results are we getting? We're going to talk a lot about that tonight, and super excited to do that. I was able to replace that income and give myself a huge raise last year. And once again, looking at a raise again this year, even with the crazy thing that's going on. So super excited that you guys are here. Everyone that's here is meant to be here. You're in the right place. We're going to give you a quick overview of what we're doing here, the kind of results we're getting. And with that, all of that said, I'm going to kick it back to you, Betsy, to get us started.
All right, we got two more people coming on in, and so yes, let's get it going. So corporate overview: join our next decade of growth, because Symmetry's been around for about a decade, and you're going to see that we have grown substantially, and we haven't even gotten started yet, really. So why Symmetry? This is one thing that really stood out to me today, especially on our national call. Here at Symmetry, we get to work for ourselves. You get to work for yourself. You're not beholden to a company, a boss, where you got to clock in and you got to clock out. But the great thing is you don't have to do it by yourself. The Symmetry model, it's a beautiful business model that's provided for you. You don't have to go and spend tons of time figuring out stuff. Like, you just walk into a system that is ready for you to succeed, and it's proven to be successful for so many agents. We've got a strong culture. You can scale your income. There's no cap, and also, this is recession proof. This past year, we have exploded with growth, even through all of the craziness, like Val said, that's going on in the world. And you'll see here in a moment, Symmetry was actually founded during the recession. We're still going strong. And, the greatest thing too, though, is that it's meaningful, it's impactful work. You truly get to make a positive difference in people's lives. So here's some things that we're going to go over tonight. We're going to talk about who we are, what we do, how we do it, how we find clients, how we support our agents, how you get paid, it's pretty important. You know, we don't, as much as I love this, I do want to help support my family and make sure that my kids can, you know, eat and go to school and, you know, do fun things, all that stuff. And then also what makes Symmetry different. So as Val said, results do matter. You know, we all love working here, but you know, this is something where you can know like, hey, this is legit. This is something that's a really, that's a company that's been recognized outside of the company as well. Inc. 5000, we've been ranked among the top 5,000 for 5 years in a row, from 2016 up to 2020. And then also voted top company culture by Entrepreneur in 2017 and 2018. And so we take a lot of pride in that. And I think you can say, you know, we've got a great culture, and so we're growing. And so I really think that's the way that relationship works there, because of how they invest in us as agents, as people. And so therefore the company is growing. So who is Symmetry Financial? Symmetry Financial was founded in October of 2009. So like I said, it was during a recession. And Brandon Ellison, Casey Watkins, Brian Pope, those are the 3 founders of Symmetry. And they're really passionate about providing agents the opportunity not only to earn a really great income, but to have time to spend with their families and time to enjoy that income. And so we're gonna share some examples of how they truly do share the wealth of the opportunity that's here in the insurance agency. They don't choose to keep it for themselves, but they truly do choose to spread it out with us, the agents, which is pretty phenomenal and something that we all get to be a part of.
So what we do, so basically the biggest part of what we do is to help families protect their largest asset. A lot of people think their home is their largest asset. It's really not. Think about it for just a moment. Like, what happens if their income stops? Like, how long do they have that home? How long do they have that asset? You can easily say that a home is a liability. If you've owned a home for any period of time, that you might think that, right? You know, water heater goes out, you're writing $1,000 check that day. Ask me how I know, because it's happened to me, right? So we bought this house brand new, been blessed to be here 18 years. But yeah, there are some expenses that go along with that. So with what we do is we're protecting their largest asset, which is ability to produce income, right? So we're making sure in event of a death, a disability, major illness, where they're covered, right? So we do all different types of life insurance, everything under that umbrella. There's a lot of different health products that we offer. Disability is a big one. What if their income stops because they're not able to work for a long period of time? Wealth management strategies, debt-free life. We have the queen of debt-free life on the phone with us. Very, very happy to have her co-hosting with me today. Just doing an amazing job out there impacting families. So who do we do it? How do we do it? And who do we do it with? So you'll recognize some of these names on this list. Some of them you won't. One of the most recognizable is Mutual of Omaha. And I always throw this out there too, because this is fascinating to me, absolutely fascinating to me. Most of the carriers that we do business with, we're their #1 IMO, Independent Marketing Organization, right? Or NMO, National Marketing Organization, right? So we're the #1 marketer within that company. Think about this for just a moment. Mutual of Omaha was founded in 1909. They are a 111-year-old company. They are a 47 billion B, right? As in billion dollar company, $47 billion company. The #1 marketing organization in this entire country within their entire company is Symmetry Financial Group, a $47 billion company. Do you think they like us? They like us a lot, and all of our carriers like us a lot. And we'll talk a little bit about later about incentives and things that they put out there for us. All of these carriers are just clamoring for our business. So they treat us very, very well. So is there a need for our products? Yes, absolutely. This market is so underserved, even with quote unquote competitors in the marketplace. it's a vastly underserved market. 119 million households, 7 out of 10 households rely on 2 incomes, depending on what part of country you're in. Like in Southern California, I would say that's closer to 8 or 9 out of 10 rely on 2 incomes. So when I'm meeting with the husband and wife and they're both working, I'll ask them a question that I know the answer to. So I would imagine you're both kind of working because it takes both incomes to keep things going. Is that right? So what would happen if one of those incomes were just to stop? What would that look like? So heaven forbid something happened to John last month. What would that look like from a financial standpoint today, right? What we do is important. It's impactful. If you've been around here for any period of time, you will have claims. Claims do happen. It's very, very, very real. 53% of foreclosures are caused by a death or disability. I'm not going to go through all of those. Here's an interesting statistic that we can protect against. Do you know what the #1 cause of bankruptcy is in the entire country? #1 cause of bankruptcy is medical expenses. And we have products that protect against that. So is there a need? Absolutely. How are we doing? Like, I'm cheating on the slides here, Betsy. I got it open on 2 different ways. So how are we doing? We're doing okay, right? And here's the crazy thing. What's that, Betsy?
We're making it, you know.
We're scratching by. So the crazy thing is some of the biggest companies that you know of were founded in some of the worst economies. And that's our story as well. 2009, I owned a house in 2009. I went through the block being half empty. Like, I'm not even kidding. It was probably 60% vacant. People walking from their homes. Insane. I witnessed that. And you probably did too. Maybe you knew somebody that went through that. But in 2009 is when they founded the company and say, I got a great idea. You know, like, we're in a mortgage crisis. Let's start a mortgage protection company. It's insane, right? And then to see the growth since then is just amazing. And the slide there kind of speaks for itself. So last year we did, what is this showing here? It's cut off on my screen, 129 million or whatever that is, right? So phenomenal success. And to put that in perspective, we're just a middleman. Some of the biggest companies in the country are middlemen. Think about Walmart and Amazon. Amazon's the largest retailer in the world, and they're just a middleman. All they're doing is marketing other people's products. They're selling other people's products. That's what we do. So we're in this sweet spot, this middle space where, oh gosh, we'll get into later, where you can run a business and have the insurance companies fund it for you, which is cool too. So how are we doing? Again, we're doing really well. If we look at capacity in future markets, we're estimating right now we're at about a 5% market penetration, which is insane. Is there room for growth? There's plenty of room for growth. There are other companies, I'm not going to mention any names, right? But there are other companies that recruit as many agents as our entire sales force. They recruit that in a month, right? I'm not going to mention any names, but those kind of things are on a totally different scale. It's a different market. That kind of more caters towards what an average insurance agent makes. And we'll get into what we make here, what you can make here. But an average life insurance agent makes, get ready for it, about $30,000 a year. So how does that affect us, right? How does this market share, how does this all tie in? Well, the opportunity is just wide open. Yes, we're a 10-year-old company. Yes, we're doing extremely well. Yes, we're doing over $10 million in business a month, which is more than most insurance companies, but there's a tremendous amount of room for growth, which is really, really exciting. We're just scratching the surface. So with that, we're going to kind of go over the different paths that we can choose and show you the different ways that you can kind of move forward.
Yeah, so here the owner track is actually Symmetry's flagship path. And so what that means is kind of traditionally, that's how most people, when they come into the business, that's sort of how kind of where everyone has fallen onto. And so what that means is you come in and you begin producing and you begin helping families and kind of learning those tools, learning those strategies. And then you get other people to come and join you so that you can have an impact, not just on the families you can help, but on families that they can help as well. So it's kind of that multiplying impact. And again, here at Symmetry, we're about making that kind of positive impact. And so we've got there's all sorts of training, tools, support. We'll share more specifically about that later. But here you can just grow and have an agency. All of us here on this call, we're the result of Chris Cook putting in the time to build his agency. And so, we're thankful that he came in and he took that and ran with it. And now we're all working towards the same thing. Another path that you might choose, though, is the producer path. So for some people, this becoming an owner and working with lots of different agents, maybe that's not your passion, maybe that's not your goal. But here at Symmetry, you can come and you can work with families one-on-one on your own. You can produce and have an extremely a really great income, and you're going to have all kinds of training. You've got digital leads, everything that's going to help support you to have the best business that you can. And so you can choose to do that. And so whichever one you choose, there's an opportunity to do that here at Symmetry. And you're going to have complete financial independence in 24 to 36 months, as long as you're willing to put that work in and to achieve those goals. And so all kinds of different supports that they have. So like Val said, I love debt-free life. That's kind of what I specialize in. The leads here are just amazing. We'll hit on that in just a minute. And so, yeah, there's so many opportunities, so many things that you can choose from here at Symmetry, that are so professionally done and really targeted to help you succeed. So here we're going to talk about our leads. So unlike Val, I did not come from a sales background unless it was trying to sell math to high school students. They didn't always love that. But so Symmetry, what Symmetry does is, instead of telling agents, hey, you got to go find people and sell insurance to them, and so good luck and enjoy. So what Symmetry does is they generate leads that we have the option, a lead program that all agents can be a part of. So there's about 3,000 new leads that are added to the inventory each week that are new, brand new leads, people that have just asked for our help. And then there's about 1 million leads that are in our bonus leads category. And so these are people that haven't been helped before, but it's maybe a little bit of time has passed, and so they're still looking for someone to come and help them. And so regardless of kind of what budget you're looking at when you get started, there's something for you. And we've got people that are finding success on every single type of lead. And what we want to do is we want to put you in front of the families that have asked for help. And so that's great too. When we contact people, we're not, cold calling, hoping that you won't just hang up. No, we're just calling people back. We're saying, hey, I'm here to provide the help that you've requested. So these are some of the different ways that Symmetry has been generating those leads. In the past, it's mainly been through direct mail, and this year they've really been expanding with digital leads, using social media, all kinds of different ways. And I use a lot of the online or digital media ones for Debt-Free Life, and I mean, wow, it's just amazing to talk to these people that are like, what? This is amazing. Why haven't I known about this before? And so it's a great way to connect with clients and then just really make a positive impact on their life and change their life financially.
Absolutely. So the big question is, how do we support our agents, right? So the great thing here is, when I got started, something that really, really impacted me on the first several conversations I had with Chris is, how much time or lack thereof that he was spending training agents, right? Something he taught me, he mentored me, coached me on early on, was to be a traffic cop. And the great thing here is that we have a mentorship program. Yes, that exists. There is someone that you can call and get your questions answered. However, we have a proprietary sales system, lead management, marketing, ongoing support, all of that stuff. So as you can see there, one-on-one mentorship does exist. Weekly training calls and webinars. We're able to plug people into a proven system that works. It's going to be what we always say, we're not looking to motivate people, we're looking to find motivated people, right? And if that's you, there might be a fit here for you as you evaluate this, if you're looking at it for the first time. And if you're with us, we're glad you're here. Realize it's going to take some internal motivation. You got to have your own why. But the great thing here is everything is right there at your fingertips. If you're an early bird, if you're a night owl, it's there for you. You get up at 4 o'clock in the morning, you can do your reading, you can do your studying, man. If you're the type of person that stays up super late, it's available for you. So that's pretty amazing. There's probably one, and we're really good as far as directing people, but if there's any complaint about the training that we have available, is it's too much. as if there's such a thing, right? Like, you got to be able to kind of figure out what's on point to what you need to know right now. And that's what the mentorship program is. And that's what being a traffic cop is all about. So industry leading tech tools, there's Owner Circle, Virtual Assistant, Virtual Mentor, all kinds of different things. There's Power Dialer, where it's like an automatic dialer where you can use that. You're just clicking a button. Very, very streamlined, really accelerates as far as your growth into the business, because you can make more phone calls, contact more people, set more appointments, and help more families, and therefore produce more income. So there's all kinds of different tools that are available. Quality member services. This is pretty, QMS is pretty amazing. So this is very exciting to me without getting into the nitty gritty of this. So they say that the statistic, Betsy, the statistic is 1%, and I'm not making this up because I have another statistic about statistics that I might share with you. But
I think I might have put that one.
You think you know that one? 1% of agents statistically follow up with their clients as they should, right? Calling them every year, calling them every 2-year anniversary, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
What's amazing and super exciting to me is that, gosh, I don't know how many clients I have here, but in total, like with everything I've ever done in the industry, I have thousands of clients. But here in the last 2 years, I have hundreds of clients. I looked at it the other day. It was like 500 clients or whatever it was. I don't want to make up a number, but it's in that realm.
It's a lot, Bob. It's a lot. We know.
Well, I'm not bragging. I'm just saying, I'm just doing the system. Like,
No,
I'm far from a top producer, right? So with this, with QMS, imagine if there's somebody following up on your clients for you, and you just have commissions that show up in your bank. That's what QMS does.
I mean,
that's exciting. Okay. Like, the more clients you have, the more exciting that is. If you're just getting started, that may not mean a lot, but when you've been here for a year or two and then you see a commission just show up in your account, yeah, it's a split commission, whatever, but the reality is there's a 99% chance you're not calling them anyways. So it's 100% of something you wouldn't have got before. And by the way, I'm going to throw it out there just for fun. 62.5% of all statistics are made up 100% of the time. That's my joke for the day.
Oh, my word.
I won't quit my day job, I promise. So how do we support our agents? Agency Owner Academy, amazing when you hit that threshold, which we'll talk about in a minute. They have an AO Academy. Connect, which is a call that's placed for primarily focused on that for women on that perspective. Yes. Thrive, Giant, we're basically partnered with amazing company called Giant. They're a leadership development company. There's a lot of different programs and options that are available for you to plug in. And what Chris always say is kind of take the grocery store approach, right? Like, that works for me. I'm going to latch on to that kind of thing. So how do we get paid? So let's get right into it. Okay. So our starting contract is at 70%. It goes up to 120, right? Like, how in that world? Like, when I was introduced to insurance in 2004, it blew my mind, like how these insurance companies pay. And I'm going to touch on this real quick, and I'm watching the clock really closely here. So with that, it's recurring revenue. So how in the world are they paying out over 100% of what the client pays? Because the client's going to pay the next year, and the next year, and the next year, and the next year. And if you really want to blow your mind, get your mind blown on the big numbers, we're doing over $10 million in sales a month. $10 million in new recurring revenue, right? That's insane. Easy math, right? $10 million times 12 months is $120 million. So in roughly 8 years, Symmetry will create, at that run rate, which is what we're at now, in 8 years, Symmetry will create recurring annual revenue for the insurance companies of $1 billion. Think about that for a second. So as we get into these numbers, and I preface this whole part of how we get paid with that, because the numbers that we're going to show here are real. They're actual numbers that people are producing, they're getting paid. Like, there is no shortage of money in the insurance industry. It's a whole different ballgame. And if you didn't know this, insurance companies have more money than even banks do, like a lot more, okay? Because they actually have assets, whereas banks are leveraged, right? So anyways, whole nother thing. Fractionalized banking is eye-opening. Look into that whole nother study. But okay, so how do we get paid? Having said all that, so 70% contract. So if you look down there as new agent, basically you're getting a 70% contract. Our average sale is about $1,000. And I think they just kind of switched these out here. So let's jump to the next one there. So 15 to 20 hours a week, 6 net place sales a month. So what does that mean? 1 to 2 applications a week consistently. 1 to 2 applications a week consistently will produce this income that we're going to cover right here. So our average case is $1,000 a year. So where that says $1,000 in annualized or annual premium volume, so that's our average per case on a national basis. You're very rarely going to write a case that's exactly $1,000. It's going to be more or less, but that is the average. So if you take a 75% carrier advance, well, first of all, 70% of $1,000 is $700. So the average commission per sale is $700. The carrier advances 75% of that money, which by the way is $525. So you make a sale, a couple days later, there's commission in your bank of $525. So part-time agent, remember 6 sales a month. So that's where that $6,000 comes from. 6 sales, $1,000 each. 70% commission, that's $4,200 a week, right? So now, excuse me, a month. You take the carrier advance, you're at $3,150. So just on the advances alone, you're at $37,800 just on the advance. And now when you factor in that back end money, it's $50,400. Now here's an interesting fact, Betsy, that I don't know if you've heard me share this before, but when I started in the industry, I did it part-time. This is over 10 years ago. I made $46,500 and I did it part-time, and I did it in about 10 hours a week. And this was back in the day. And then I said, what am I doing? And then I went full-time, which was like, to be honest, like 25, 30 hours a week.
How long is that for you now?
And that was with the other company, nowhere near as good as what we're doing here. Made $96,500. Like, I'm just telling you, it's very, very real. Here, you know, to hit 6 figures your first year, it's not pie in the sky stuff. People do it. One of our oh my gosh, like all of our guests here, I believe, did it. I was gonna say one of our guests is off to just a rocket start, and looking forward to hearing from him. So that is getting back to this, and I'm back on point.
But you know what?
How do you get paid?
You know what I think is amazing here? This is part-time. Like this is part-time what people can make. I mean, like when I
absolutely
mean, more than I'm ever made as a teacher. You know, I mean, just to be real, you know, like
working full-time and then some, right?
Right, for sure.
Yeah. I mean, how much work did you do after hours, you know, prepping for the next day or grading or whatever, right?
We're just not going to think about that.
We're just not, you don't have to think about that anymore. Thank goodness, right? So how do we get paid? So that's a part-time agent, $50,000 a year. Is that realistic? Absolutely. How many people do we have doing that? A lot, okay? So how do we get paid as far as a full-time agent? 30 to 35 hours a week. And here's what stood out to me the very first time. And to this day, this stands out to me. It does not say 60 to 65 hours a week. It does not say 50 to 55. It does not say 40 to 45. It says 30 to 35 hours a week, okay? And I can attest to these numbers are very real, what we're gonna talk about right here. 15 to 20 net place sales per month. What does that break down to, right? Assuming a 4-week turn-in or 4-week month, that's 4 to 5 applications a week. That's it, not dozens, right? I was just looking at the leaderboards from last week, you know, to be in the top 10, you had to write more than 10 apps last week, like in a week. So we're talking about doing 15 or 20 in a month on a full-time basis. So by that point, remember I said you promote every 2 months. So you're at an 85% contract level. So you've got 3 promotions. You've gone from 70 to 75, 75 to 80, 80 to 85, right? $1,000 same average case, 75% carrier advance. So what that works out to be is $12,750 total commission for the month. Your carrier advance factored in is $9,500. Your annual advance, so in other words, the commissions that you're going to see right away is $114,000. And then when you factor in that back end money, which you get in the 10th, 11th, and 12th month, it just starts to trickle in, which is really nice. You're about $153,000. And again, I can attest to that. That's a very realistic number. You can do that if you put in the work. So it's not rocket science, or what I say, Betsy, it's not rocket surgery.
Right, so I remember you said that it's not rocket surgery. It's not. I don't think anything is, to be honest.
It's not. It's not.
I remember the first time I started getting my back end commission, I just woke up and there was this money in my bank account that I hadn't expected. And I was like, well, hello. Yes, thank
Hello
you.
there.
Yes, please, and thank you. It was pretty sweet.
Well, I'm a numbers guy. You'll appreciate this, Betsy. So if you're doing 10 sales a week, okay,
Mhm.
10 sales a week, 10 sales oh my gosh, 10 sales a month is what this works out to be, 10,000, right? So I'm not going to break down all the numbers, but what that works out to be on the back end is once that 10th, 11th, and 12th month start rolling around, that is over $1,500, over $1,500 a month that's rolling in on the back end. And that's just from 10 sales a month. $1,500, crazy. Over. Anyways, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I just think as long as you're doing that,
Potential.
that's just an extra $1,500 coming in. Boom, boom,
Think
boom.
about what they'll pay. That'll pay most people's mortgages.
Yeah.
Not in California, but.
I can handle that. So here's another thing though that makes Symmetry different, and that just really, it appeals to a lot of people, is our agency ownership program. So with our agency ownership program, there's none other like it. And so to come in, if you want to own an agency here at Symmetry, you don't have to have a lot of money to come in and do it. You got to put in the work. And so our agency owners are people that have proven that they can produce, proven that they are able to do what it is that we do here at Symmetry, to go out, meet with families, protect them, make the sales themselves, and then be able to train and mentor others who want to do the same thing. And so once you've done that, and once you've reached that agency owner status, what is amazing about Symmetry is that stays in your family. So if you were to pass away, it doesn't go back to Symmetry, and so now, all of a sudden your family has lost all that income. That stays within your family. So it's this generational wealth that you're able to create here at Symmetry as well. And I've got 2 boys, and they're young right now. I don't know what they're going to want to do when they grow up, but I love the fact that, with what I'm building here at Symmetry, this is something that they're going to have access to for the rest of their life. Even my grandchildren, I'm able to have an impact on them just by putting in the hours right now, doing something that I love and that's truly helping people. For me, it's a perfect marriage of everything that I'm really passionate about. Excuse me. So here, so how does it exactly work then when you're an agency owner? So whenever if you choose that owner path that we talked about earlier, and you've built up, your commission level has increased every 2 months up to 95. And so again, here, you get there by working to get there. All right. You don't just, oh, well, so-and-so kind of likes you, so they'll give you a commission bump. It doesn't work that way. You've got to put in the work and the effort, which just gives it a clear, a fair playing board across the field. And so what happens is, whenever you will make commission every time that you help an agent make a sale. So we're not just bringing people in and then I'll somehow mysteriously making money off of them. No, whoever the agency owner is or whoever the leader is, they don't make money unless they help the people that they brought in. And so there's a very much just a sense of camaraderie, and hey, we truly are here to mentor you and to help you, because that's in everybody's best interest. And so if you're at a 95 and your agent is at an 80% contract, then the difference between that is called the spread, or 15. So here in this instance, it would be 15%. So this example is looking at an agency owner who's making $50,000 a month. Okay, and so now these numbers, I sometimes call them monopoly numbers, but this is what people are making month after month after month after month here at Symmetry, all across the country. So here, an agency owner will have a couple of sales representatives that are part of their agency. They're still personally producing about $15,000, 90% contract. 35,000 is from the agency with 15% spread, and then getting that 75% carrier advance that Val talked about. So same, kind of go through the numbers here again, and that advanced commission that agency owner is making is $175,000 $100,000 in 1 year. And then once that back end commission starts coming back, that's $234,000 a year. And so again, this is something that's happening year after year, because they've got that $50,000 agency month after month. This is what the real numbers that people are seeing across Symmetry. Then if you go all the way up to an executive vice president, at that point, you're not personally producing, your agency's making about $500,000. And so if you just look at that 15% spread, then your advanced commission is $675,000. That almost seems unreal to me. And then
Right.
once you add in that back end commission, $900,000. But again, this is what people are making, and the way that they make that is they worked to get there. This isn't something that was just handed to them or someone liked them, and so it happened. Like, people are putting in the work. They're still having time with their families, and they're making a positive impact on their communities. So earlier I'd mentioned one of the things that Brandon, Casey, and Brian, the founders of Symmetry, were really passionate about was not just keeping the wealth for themselves, but was about sharing that wealth. And actually today on the national call, they were talking about some of the new technology that they're rolling out to help agents. And I actually wrote this down. It really struck me. Brandon said, everyone's trying to eliminate the agent, because a lot of companies are trying to kind of make everything digital and sort of just bypass the agent. He said, we want to empower our agents to be as profitable as possible and have that impact. And I just thought, I love that that's the heart. That's kind of what's being shared on the national call. And that's what we see played out on a day-to-day basis. So here, once you're an executive vice president, you got an equity partner, then you're going to be getting bonuses each month. And this is, again, not just on your organization. At that point, it's a bonus off of the entire company. So in this example here, this executive vice president, their bonus annually is $228,000. So they're making over $1 million per year. Again, real numbers, real people. This is what they're making.
What's crazy about that, Betsy, is looking at the age of the company. The company's only 10 years old, and look at how many people have, it's just mind-blowing, how many people have actually achieved that level.
Mm-hmm.
So if I were to say to you, what if that was possible for you? What if you could not fail? Like, what if that was a trajectory, and what if it took 5 years? What would you not do? What would you not do? Think about the impact that would have just on your immediate family.
Mm-hmm.
How about your extended family? How about generational wealth? And the crazy thing is, like, there's a lot of companies out there, and in the insurance world, it's not like you can point to somebody that's making 7 figures, like with almost any of these organizations, especially the ones that have been around forever. But think about it. Is that opportunity there for a brand new agent walking in the door? With most companies, absolutely not. With here, it absolutely is, and it's happening. Like, it's happening now. We're here and now. This is the real results that we're getting. It's people have hit this level in less than 5 years, which is mind-blowing. When you talk about an agency doing $50,000 a month, the income from that agency is about $50,000 a year on top of what you're making. And the crazy thing is you can do that in 1 year. Now, what's the significance of $50,000 a year? That's almost exactly double of what people make on Social Security. Betsy, you've heard of the 40-40-40 plan, right? You work 40 years, 40 hours a week to try to retire on 40% of what you couldn't live on before. Like, that's the 40-40-40 plan. That's a lot of people are on that track.
Well,
right?
So much of what I do with Debt Free Life is, not just help people get out of debt, but then, think about, hey, planning for retirement. And that is honestly what breaks my heart the most. Like, because debt, we can definitely get a plan for that. But then hearing what their plans are for retirement, and they're just, well, I don't know. I hope we'll have enough. I'll be a greeter at Walmart, and being like, oh, hey, no, also you can have all this money in retirement. And so, the products that we get to offer here, like, it's not just, hey, the impact that it makes for us, it's how we get to impact other people and change their lives. Sorry.
Absolutely. Oh, that's amazing. I love your enthusiasm there. And hope is not a game plan. It's like, hope is not a game plan, right?
No.
We can need something a little more concrete than that. So in closing here and wrapping up the last couple of things here before, I'm really looking forward to hearing from our guest speakers briefly as we close down the call. So one of the ways that we're different too, as you can see on the screen here, they recently rolled this out, and what's amazing is that Symmetry and the people at that much higher level that are making those incomes said, let's put together a plan for a brand new agent. So I get to offer this to you. Joe Martinez gets to offer this to you. Jeff gets to offer this to you. Laura Davis, Jordan gets to offer this to you. These key leaders, Chris Cook gets to offer this to you as a brand new agent, right? Without it coming out of their pockets, which is insane, right? So if you add all of this up that you see on the screen here with the fast track bonuses within the first 30, 90 days, the money that the carriers are kicking in, there's a trip that Symmetry's kicking in. If you add all that up, it's about $19,500 in cash and a trip of a lifetime in the first 90 days that you can earn. Amazing, like $19,500 in your first 90 days. And I did the math on that. You're already making over $2,000 a week if you hit these numbers. And it's very doable. It's very attainable. People are going to hit these. So that's pretty outstanding. No one else has those. We even have a free policy where you get life insurance free for a year if you qualify up to $250,000. And you can obtain actually health insurance through one of our partner carriers for about half the price. So you have the opportunity to be a business owner, independent business owner, and still have these benefits, completely unheard of. So trips and incentives, as I mentioned in the beginning, all of our carriers want our business. So they put together these amazing, and I've been very, very blessed to have been on a couple of these before, where you don't pay for anything. If you're frugal, you can come back with money in your pocket, okay? More than you left with, because typically they're giving you cash to cover incidentals because they know you have to park at the airport. They know you're going to eat at the airport, that kind of thing. There's going to be these little expenses that you have to come out of pocket just because. Now, once you arrive there, you don't have to do anything. Like, that's all paid for. But and they pay for the airfare, all that stuff, but they even give you cash. And these things are first class. If you've never been on an all expense paid trip, trust me, like it'll ruin you.
You know what? I've traveled a lot, and I'm looking forward to one of these.
It's a little bit different. You're not staying at, the Residence Inn. Let's just put it that way. As nice as it, might be, this is not that. So, who are we looking for? People that listen, right? Take the information in, be coachable, teachable, trainable, right? So looking, associate with people, right? One of the most powerful forces in the universe is association, right? You take a mix of your 5 closest friends, and you're pretty much a amalgamation of all that, right? Working hard, it's hard work. Like, yeah, we have fun. Like, you're going to see a lot of things as you get immersed in this culture, as you get more exposed to this culture, you're going to see that we do truly have a lot of fun. And that's, I don't want, the work is hard, but having fun is easy when you have the time and the resources to do it, right? The work is hard, but having fun is easy when you have the time and resources to do it. Change, be willing to change. Realize that you are exactly where you're supposed to be today. I didn't say you're exactly where you want to be, because most people aren't, myself included, right? But you are exactly where you're supposed to be. It's the sum total of every decision you've made up until this point. It's the sum total of every association that you've had up until this point. So where you are today is right where you're supposed to be. If you want to be different and elevate yourself, you need to change. That's all there is to it, right? And obviously change for the better through association with people that are where you want to be. And the great thing here is there's no secrets. Like, there are no secrets. It's all laid out there. A rising tide raises all ships. They just handed out these equity bonuses or equity appreciation rights to the value of that is millions, tens of millions of dollars. And they're going to be trickled down all the way down to the agent. So that's a whole nother next level type thing where they realize they want that sort of success for all of our agents. So with that, I'm going to kick it back to you, Betsy, and I know you have the great honor and privilege to introduce our first guest, and we're going to close out here within 15 minutes at the very most.
Right. Okay. So I get to introduce just a woman that has a heart for the business like no other. She's a top producer in our agency the last couple of weeks, and And then, like I said, she just loves families, and it's so evident from the way that she talks about her work. It's evident from the way the way that she trains others and she pours into others. And also she cares about every single member of the families that she goes and helps, because every time she meets with the family, she doesn't walk away with one app or maybe two like most of us hope for. She's like got 7 to 10 on every single person, and grandma and the neighbor next door. She is passionate about protecting families and having that positive impact. So I am so honored to introduce Laura Davis.
Thank you so much for that wonderful, wonderful introduction, Betsy. I am Laura Davis. I'm direct to Jordan and Jared Gillum. I've been with Symmetry Financial Group for going on 4 years now. It'll be 4 years in April. And I'm so glad that I started this journey here. I've been asked to share a little bit of my story. So I'm not coming from a sales background. I was actually in nursing for 14 years. And when I moved here to Tennessee from North Carolina, my license wouldn't transfer. And they wanted me to take my state board again, pay the fees. After so long, I didn't feel like that was the right way to go. Also, I really didn't want to be in nursing anymore. It's really hard on the body and mentally as well. So I was bartending, serving, and a good friend told me about timeshare. Now, I live in a touristy area in Tennessee. I'm sure you guys have heard of Gatlinburg and Pigeon Forge. And that's where I ended up in timeshare. And about 5 years ago, I guess it's been a little over 4 years ago, there were huge fires in Gatlinburg and Pigeon Forge that burned down 80% of the resort that we were working at. And me and my husband, I say we because me and my husband were both working there at the time. And so it was actually like a breath of fresh air for us to find out that the resort had burnt down, unfortunately. But we were working over 90 hours a week. We were barely seeing our daughter. We were making a good income, but we had to trade that income for time. And we actually had someone else raising our daughter, basically. We would come home, she would be asleep. We would wake her up, take her home, put her on the bus in the morning, and that was it. We had to work 6 days a week. Needless to say, I was happy when the resort burned down, but it actually opened our eyes to the company and the people that we were working for. When we saw how they treated folks that had lost everything. Some of our friends lost everything, and they got out with just inches of their lives. So it was an eye-opener for us, and we no longer wanted to work for that company. So I'm so blessed that Jordan thought of me when she came into this business. She'd been here about 4 months before I came in, but she told me about it. She said, Laura, you'd be great at it. Come and join me. So we were learning together, and I'm so blessed that we are here together. But for the new folks on here, everybody's journey is going to be very different. I started out and I had like $1,000 in my bank account and 2 mortgages because we had just moved and our rental house was no longer vacant. So we had to get a renter. We were fixing it up from the renters from before. Basically I looked at my husband and I said, look, we got to do something. We have 2 mortgages due in a couple of weeks and we have $1,000 in our bank account. So I'm going to go ahead and do this. And my husband got licensed alongside me at the same time, but he wanted to see if it worked. He wanted to see if I actually got paid. He wanted to see the people that I was working with. He wanted to make sure that it was a legit thing, the insurance industry. We knew nothing about it. So he did get licensed with me, but he hung in the rafters for about a year. And he saw that this was a legit business and we could make good income. And we're helping families and we're getting paid to do it. So once he figured out that I had planted my roots here and this was our home, he decided to come in and help me with the business. So he has been recruiting full-time ever since then for our agency. And I'm so blessed that he does. I'm so glad that I have support now. So for all the newbies on here, get your spouses involved. Get your significant others involved, because you're going to need that support system to surround you. It's very, very hard, coming from experience, not to have someone in your court like a spouse or a friend, because you're going to get a lot of negative feedback from everybody, from your sister, from your aunt, from your parents, from your best friend, that you're crazy for jumping into this business. The insurance industry is cutthroat, yada, yada, yada. You're going to hear all of this stuff, because I did. And I can tell you that you are at the right place at the right time right now with Symmetry Financial Group. This company is by far the best insurance agency system people that I have ever met in my life. I have met the most quality people that I have ever met in my life here at Symmetry Financial Group. So you guys that are on this call right now, congratulations for taking the first step, because showing up to conference calls like these is imperative for your growth here. And it's also where you learn about the business and jumpstart the business. These fast track bonuses are huge. I wish they were in line whenever I first started, because I would be taking advantage of that $12,000 immediately. In 90 days, you can make $12,000 if you just do what the system says. And if you work hard for just a little while, it's going to be so worth it. So I can definitely suggest to rely on your upline within your first 90 days. Ask a lot of questions. The main question is, what's next? So with that, I am going to turn it over to, I'm so glad to be able to introduce this gentleman. He has been with us for just a short amount of time, for like a minute. But I can tell you that he reached top producer within Symmetry Financial Group within his first 2 months here. So that is a huge accomplishment, and it's my pleasure to introduce our next speaker, Jeffrey Miller.
Thank you, Laura. Thank you for that kind introduction of me getting started. It's been an amazing short journey that I'm just getting started with, and so excited about Symmetry and what it's going to provide for my family, what it already is providing for my family. Prior to being with Symmetry, I was with a practice company for about 10 years, owned my own agency with them, and learned about insurance and things like that, and kind of tested out a little bit with Symmetry a little bit in the beginning, and finally decided to step 100% in with Symmetry, and started full time just after the first week or two of July this year, and it's just been amazing, amazing start. So it's been a blessing to my family. I get to see my family a lot more than I used to. The income opportunity is much greater than I ever had with my practice company, as we call it. So really, really blessed to be part of this team and meet these people that I've met just over the last several months. So what a blessing. And, one of the things when I was looking at Symmetry for me and my family, I was kind of thinking, I was looking for something. I was looking for a different company. I was looking for an opportunity for my family, because I knew the one that was in was good. I did have a 6-figure income. Like Val, I was doing okay. I was just over broke because you live on what you make. But I wanted something that had more potential for my family. And I started looking at, where can I go? Where can you go and earn an additional 5% raise every 2 months based on your results, and not when your boss thinks you deserve a raise? Where can you go and set your own schedule to fit with your family's schedule out there? To spend time with your family, take the time off. I was blessed that my daughter just got married this last week on Monday, and I didn't have to ask my boss for the time off. That's awesome. Where can you go and instantly start your own business with all the support and training and tools you need? Where can you go to have an unlimited income potential. That's pretty, to me, that's unlimited. When you're looking at 7-figure incomes, that's pretty awesome. Where can you go and build your own agency as large as you want and have the carriers fund your business for you just by doing what you're supposed to do? And another benefit is you can actually move anywhere you want in the US. With my old practice company, I was stuck. If I wanted to move, I actually just sell my agency. Now, if I ever decide to move, I just have to move. Bring my laptop with me. Where can you go and earn time back to spend with your family and friends? With my last career, it was a great company, but it didn't offer me the time with my friends and family that this company is going to do just in a few short years. Where can you go to have access to the most affordable and best leads in industry by far? Where can you go and your teammates are just as excited for your success as you are? That is definitely a different culture. Where can you go and have the amazing training support provided by Symmetry Corporate and agents? And finally, the last couple of things, where can you go and with your hard work become an agency owner that allows you to pass on your agency to your family without any hitches along the way? And where can you go and build something, as Betsy talked about, for your family's future for generations to come? This is a business you can build and pass on to your children. Just the opportunity is just so amazing here. So I'm just grateful for Symmetry and the opportunity, the friendships I'm building just over this short time. And I'm just getting started. So just a blessing for me, for sure, and my family. So, and I have the privilege of introducing the next speaker up here. And he's been my mentor over the last several months, helping me with this, guiding me, directing me, telling me to follow the Symmetry system because it works. And I know it works because last year, he was just a handful of agents with Symmetry that won the Symmetry trip by submitting over $380,000 in premium last year. So this guy is just a beast out there with this business. He's amazing. I'm so blessed to have him mentoring me. So I get the honor and privilege to introduce the great Joe Martinez.
Thank you, Jeff. That was awesome. Hi, guys. My name is Joe Martinez. Been with Symmetry for about 2.5 years. Come from the restaurant world, originally from Texas, now out in Arizona and building a business. I get the privilege today of talking about the positive impact about building a business. I'm going to keep it pretty short and hit the things that impact me the most out of building a business. And the first thing is having a running buddy and running partners, right? When you're building a business, you get to have people like Jeff alongside of you, Val, Betsy, Jordan, right? And y'all are in it together, and there's nothing like being in the trenches with people that love you and support you and help you along the way, and you get to cry on each other's shoulders and then also celebrate all your big wins. Jeff said it best. We've both been able to come in here and find success pretty quickly, but a lot of it has to do with having support with our teams, right? The people above me and the people underneath us. And there's nothing like helping families through other agents, right? So when I wake up every day, I get phone calls from different agents, and it's like me running 10, 15 appointments because I have agents out there that are helping other families, and me supporting them supports my family, right? Because I get commissioned off of my team sales, which is huge, right? One of my favorite things in life and doing is training and teaching and helping and developing people. And that's something I get to do here. And I don't have to buy a franchise. I don't have to get into something. That's just Symmetry culture. We get to come in here and work with each other and build teams. The next one is the impact that it has on your income, right? Because we get paid two ways here at Symmetry. One is going out there and produce yourself, Okay. Last year I did some really good big production, right? That was hard work for me to go out there and produce that by myself, right? This year's a lot different. My income's pretty close to the same, but I have a team helping us, right? So Joe Martinez or you or, you know, Val Zorn can only help so many people in a week. But when you have a team underneath you, y'all are helping multiple more families, and you're able to get into more homes, or now digital, and help more people and solve more solutions, right? Because here at Symmetry, we get paid on the impact that we have in people's lives. And the bigger your team, the more impact you have. The more impact you have, the more income you generate. And this is one of the only places I have ever seen in my life where you literally, Val Zorn taught me the same, right? I want to get paid on the impact and the, what's the word you use? Come on, tell me it, Val. On the
I want to get paid in
bring,
direct. There you go.
On the value that I bring to the company, right? And that's huge. And when you're building a team here and you have more support from just, you know, whoever you have, even if it's one person at the beginning to 10 people, 15 people as we grow, you know, you're impacting more people. You are absolutely getting paid on the impact that you bring, because you're bringing way more value to the industry, because you have more agents out there and y'all are impacting and helping more families. So I'll keep it that short now.
Great job as always, Joe.
Always. Well, guys, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for allowing us to share this opportunity that, you know, I think we've said it so much. It has changed our lives. We love being able to have that positive impact on families, and not just on families that we help, but also on our own family. And so what's next? We just want to encourage you to get with the person that brought you to this call, and just talk with them and let them know, like, hey, I think this is a great fit for me, or you know what, maybe this is not the best fit for me. We want you to feel comfortable about where you're taking your life and the choices that you're making. And if you feel like Symmetry is a good fit, and you're willing to come here, work hard, have that positive impact, then we'd be excited to start partnering with you in business. And so get with that person, check in with them. And anyways, thanks again for joining us. Thanks to all of our guests. I always am so inspired by hearing everyone's stories. And just am thankful to be in business with all of you. Have a great evening.
Bye, guys.